Hi, ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop97. This is my review for today. And today's review, ladies and dudes. Well, my friends, it's that time again for another top 5 list that nobody has never done before. And this top 5 list is going to be the most different one of all. And to tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, I just followed this top 5 list just only 2 days ago when I was working at Taco Bell, and I was thinking to myself, I would like to make up some brand new scenes that we have never seen before, or something that hasn't been made yet, or whatever. I'll I'll just go ahead and tell you. My brand new top 5 list I really want to do for today is my top 5 most greatest ideas for the scenes of the retelling story of Taken 3. As you may know, I do like Taken 3, don't get me wrong. It is a pretty underrated movie of all time and truly one of the most underrated movies in the year of 2015. But sadly, this movie does have some flaws here and there, and it has some good points for it here and there, but I was just thinking to myself, I think it's a good idea if Taken 3 should have been fixed and also tried to make the movie better than before. And plus, I really want to see a brand new character that we haven't seen yet in all 3 of the Taken films. Like I said, I want this story to be renewed. It needs to be a 2D hand-drawn animation film without any CGI in it, and it needs to have pure, rich animation and, character design and all that stuff. And also, we gotta find a way to make the storyline better than before. Some parts that are missing from the live-action film, and just some things that needs to be added in the story. Well, hard for me to say. So anyway, without further ado, ladies and dudes, here are my top 5 most greatest ideas for the scenes that I would love to see for the retelling story of Taken 3. And yes, I do have a whole lot of honorable mentions that will not make it to the list. Well, you get the story. So for my honorable mentions will be Ben's most funniest moments, like he likes to be a pervert to Lenny, and Lenny calls him the British pervert, and also calling Sam a shorty, and an uncle and niece relationship between Ben and Kim, since Benjamin Williams had never got a chance to get to know Kim, for many years and all that stuff. And I also want Lenny to finally divorce Stuart for good, so she'll never be with that horrible, ugly rich man again. And we do need a happy ending for Brian Mills and Lenny to finally get remarried at long last. And most of all, I would love to see a good funny moment from Mr. Dawson if he asks everybody, does anybody want a bagel? Since he loves bagels. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions for some of the scenes I would love to see for the retelling story of Taken 3. And now let's head on to my top 5 best choices for the list. Coming at number 5 has to go to Lenny's story. And since you may remember about Taken 3, the live action one, well, thanks to those dumb writers, they forgot to put something about Lenny. About her pain and sorrow and what kind of bad things that she had done from many years ago when she was still married to that horrible, ugly rich man, Stuart Sin John. Well, let's just say I want to get to know Lenny Mills a little bit more and add more character development and chemistry for Faken Jensen's character, so we can get to know about this person and find out the reason why she's in a whole lot of pain and sorrow and all the bad things that Stuart had done to her from 8 or 9 years ago when they were still married.
And I want this whole entire event happening where Brian, Ben, Mr. Dawson, Sam, Casey, and Bernie, Kim, and Jamie, they're all going to listen to Lenny's story, and they're going to get very shocked about what the heck she's going to tell everybody about, for what kind of life she had been through and all that stuff. So I would love to see a Lenny Mills story so we can get to know the character just a little bit more. And it sucks for the live action version, they did not add much in the story. And that was definitely one of the main flaws about the live action version of Taken 3, that we didn't know Lenny Mills' story that much. But sadly, we only know a little bit, but I want to get to know more of her story. So Lenny's story deserves to be at number 5. Coming at number 4 has to go to the near ending for Taken 3 is I want to see a fight scene between Bryan Mills and Stuart Sin John. You know, it's the most important fight scene that we're all been waiting for. It's not about the battle of the X's. It's all about a battle between the true love of Lenny's life and also a man who has no rights to be Lenny's husband at all. They need to settle the score once and for all and get this whole thing over with and all that stuff. And I would love to see a couple of dialogues here and there that came from Bryan Mills to see what the heck he's going to say in Stuart's face. And one of the lines I really want to hear is, "Stuart Sin John, let my Lenny go." You know, he wants Stuart to let Lenny go, you know, set her free and all that stuff. It's hard for me to say about this one, but yeah, the near ending between Bryan Mills and Stuart deserves to be at number 4. And coming at number 3, here's a good epic moment I really want to see in the retelling story of Taken 3, and it has something to do with a new character and the character that we all know and love in all 3 of the Taken films. So for number 3 is an epic teamwork between Bryan Mills and his master, Benjamin Williams. I would love to see a couple of interesting fight scenes here and there between the master and the student. You know, facing so many bad guys as soon as they can. You know, facing Stewart's men and the cops, the CIAs, the FBIs, whoever these people are. I want to see some really cool, excellent fight scenes that involves where they release their powers of their particular set of skills, like punching, kicking, and headbutting, and maybe some unknown particular set of skills that nobody has never seen before. I want to see a great epic showdown and a great epic teamwork between these two men. Since Bryan and Ben knew each other for a very long time, they were not just master and student, but they were also brothers, friends in real life, and really good partners. Since they are the greatest duo of all time, who knows the true power of particular set of skills and all that stuff. You know, it's hard for me to say. So yeah, an epic teamwork between Bryan and Ben. It deserves to be at number 3. And coming at number 2, this is one of my upsetting moments for Taken 3. I I think Luc Besson and that Mark Robert guy should be ashamed of themselves for taking away a very important moment that I really want to see in Taken 3 after the events of Taken 2. And well, anyway, for number 2 goes to Bryan and Lenny's relationship. I want to see more relationship between these two fantastic characters who are very underrated, and they did not have much character development or chemistry. And I think for my made up guess of how many minutes of what type of screen time they're going to have, I will say like 45 minutes. Maybe 45 minutes will be perfect for some character development and chemistry between these two lovely people. Since I want to get to know their storyline a little bit, and I want to see good character development and chemistry where they need to find a way to keep their relationship as a whole, and they can finally forget about that they were a divorced couple, ex-husband, ex-wife thing, and continue on being friends. I'd rather get rid of those moments, and I just want to see them as love couples. And most of all, ladies and dudes, the most important thing I really want to see for Bryan and Lenny's relationship is I really want to see Bryan and Lenny having sex for once. And it's a shame that Luke Besson and Mark Robert Guy hadn't thought about that idea. Let's add a sex scene between Bryan Mills and Lenny so they could get to know how much they love each other. And let's see what Bryan Mills can do on his woman. You know, I want to see that sex scene so badly in Taken 3 and try to get to know how much Bryan and Lenny love each other and see, how their relationship grew and all that stuff. Well, hard for me to say. So Bryan and Lenny's relationship deserves to be at number 2. And finally, my number 1 most important reason why I want to see a Taken 3 retelling story so badly for a good scene in the film has to go to the main opening that featured Benjamin Williams. And since Benjamin Williams is my Taken made up character, I want to see my character have his moment to shine so badly in a Taken movie. And since this is the most important character I really want to see from Alan Rickman, since Alan Rickman had never got a chance to play a main hero character yet. And I really want this character to have its first opening debut in the main beginning of the story. And I think how to find a way to make it work. I want to see a part where Benjamin Williams is somewhere up there in the building, look around in Los Angeles and see how everything changed. And since the last time he was in Los Angeles for so many years here and there, he has to return home to London, England and all that stuff and reunite with his family. He wants to see how LA is doing and see anything had changed. And he likes looking at the lights and all that stuff. And then one night, he's gonna get attacked by Stuart's men. He's gonna face a couple of them here and there. And also, I would like to see an excellent fight scene between Benjamin Williams and Melanchoth. It will be a very cool, epic battle. And they're going to do sword fighting. And Melanchoth already found out who Benjamin Williams is. He's known as the legendary British assassin, the guy who kills people with guns and all that stuff. But he did not realize that Benjamin Williams is no longer a British assassin. He's known as the British Guardian, a guy who wants to protect people and, fight and defend the peace. And, he wants to fight for freedom and all that stuff. And sadly, Ben and Melanchoth's fight scene is cutting short. Stuart had shown up and Benjamin Williams is not happy to see Stuart at all, and Benjamin Williams began to know that danger is coming in LA. So that's all I could say about the main beginning for the Taken 3 story is I want Benjamin Williams to have his first main entrance to the Taken 3 story and try to get to know the character just a little bit, in the beginning of the story. So that's all I could say about for the number 1 spot is I want to see a great main opening for my Taken made up character named Benjamin Williams. A guy that we haven't seen yet in all 3 of the Taken films, and it deserves to be my number 1 most important reason why I want to see the retelling story Taken 3 so badly. And that's it, ladies and dudes. Those are my top 5 most important reasons why I want to see Taken 3 so badly, with a couple of good interesting scenes here and there. I hope you enjoyed this list. And this will be my most hardest top 5 list I did so far. If I made a couple of mistakes or two, but I did the best I could. And tell me, ladies and dudes, what is your most important reasons why you want to see a retelling story of Taken 3 and try to make it better than before? For which scene that you want to see in a good story? Well, whichever it is, leave a comment there and let me know. And join me next time on my next videos to come in the main future. So, I'll see you guys later. Sayonara.